Hi there, we're Sarah,
Marianne,
and Lizzie Green, and this is Crash Course World History. And today we're going to be talking about how to survive AP World History.
Mrs. Green, I've never taken an AP class before. I'm going to die. Oh, don't you worry me from the past. It's now the end of the year, and all three of us have made it through AP World History, and we had no prior AP experience either. You can do it, we promise. You're going to need some help though, so here is the best advice we've gathered from our experience in the classes this year. Let's get to it.
Let's discuss the expectations for AP World History. First of all, you're going to have a lot of homework, possibly more than you've ever had before. I found myself dedicating between 1 and 3 hours of AP World History per night, but usually about 1.5 every day. You're going to be expected to open your textbook and do between 4 and 12 pages of reading, along with 3 and 16 note cards. However, these aren't just your everyday word on the front, definition on the back note cards, but more on that later. You'll have also a set of note cards to do either Friday night or over the weekend. Get used to weekend homework, my friends. Many nights you will have homework to finish in class. It's a good idea to finish this right as you get home, so you won't procrastinate. Lastly, expect pop quizzes in class. These will be around 4 multiple choice questions, and they will cover the reading for the night before. We did about 25 quizzes a year, and even though there are a lot of them, if you skimp on your reading, it will hurt your grade. Now let's move on to some helpful strategies on how to prepare for tests. You will find these very useful, unless you are the Mongols. Tip 1. Study the cards. During this class, you will make lots of flashcards about each period of history. These cards will be your main study tool, so don't slack on them. Tip 2. Start studying in advance for the test. Try to study 5 to 7 nights before, and not the night before. You can do this by reviewing 10 flashcards per night, or filling out outlines. This way, you won't be overwhelmed the night before the test. You should also get more sleep so that you can make more accurate guesses. Tip 3. As you are reading Simulus, a historical reading passage on the test, remember to underline important things that will help you answer the question, as well as when it was written and the author, to familiarize yourself with the time period and the events that happened in it. Tip 4. If you get your test back and you are not satisfied with your grade, don't freak out. You can attend a test review to learn and understand the questions you missed. You can also retake the test and it will average with your original grade, so you can raise your overall grade. That helped me a lot. You can also take optional writing essays that give your grade a helpful boost.
Next, there is so much content that you will learn in this class, and sometimes it's difficult to understand it all, but hopefully our advice and strategies will help you stay on top and ace those pop quizzes. First, attend study sessions before the test. There you will receive helpful outlines, take notes and lectures, study note cards, and play a review game with practice test questions. Also, watch Crash Course World History. John Green may talk fast, but he knows so much about world history and helps you understand the content in a new way. Next, I'll show you how I made my note cards this year, how that helped me to get A's. This is an example stack of some note cards. I color-coded by the day, which can really help you to remember which topics go with which. Now, this is an example note card, the international impact of European industrialization. As you'll see, sometimes in the textbook they give you a definition, but you're not putting just a definition. You have to include other information like evidence, causes and effects, similarities and differences, some extra notes, and sometimes they'll even spill onto the back. Having as much information as you can will really help you to understand the content, especially if you're revising these before the tests. Another tip is to listen to the web lessons on the website. Sometimes you'll keep zoning out while you're reading, or you're really tired, but listening to these lessons made by Mr. Hoagie will really help, and you can take notes as you listen. Lastly, have a study buddy. Teach someone the data that you understand, and they can teach you the topics that they understand. This way you can both learn and ask each other questions. This works great if you have a twin like the Buchanans, but with another friend can work just as well. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is so overwhelming. How will you ever have the time for this? Let's go to the thought bubble. Arguably, the most difficult thing about AP World History is managing the workload with a busy student schedule. However, it's definitely possible. For example, I'm super involved in Centennial Theater, so I had 3-hour rehearsals pretty much every day this year after school, and stuff like Nightingales a cappella, Model UN, dance, piano, and I was still able to make time. Also,
Sarah and I are varsity athletes. We do track, cross country, swimming, and are active in flood with volunteering for the community. So we understand what it means to be busy. But there's a lot of things that you can do to study, like waking up 10 minutes early to study your note cards, study them on the way to school unless you're driving, and study them before you go to bed. Some other tips are plan ahead and do homework in advance, especially if you know you're going to be busy. An example of this is having a planner. This way you can stay organized and not forget assignments. Also, check the AP World History website every day. It's a good idea to make the website an app or bookmark on your phone so you can access it readily. You should also put your phone in a separate room every night so it won't distract you on Snapchat or Instagram. Don't forget to do your note cards every night, because if not, you'll have to do them before the test, and that's not a good idea because you won't remember them and you'll hate yourself. Procrastination is your biggest enemy. And we're back. Oh, it's time for the open letter. But first, let's open the secret compartment. Oh, I wonder what's in the secret compartment. Oh, it's Barron's AP World Review book. This is very helpful for reviewing for AP World History. You can highlight and underline, and it's very helpful for reviewing for tests. It also includes helpful charts with evidence that help you review for tests and have evidence for essays, as well as some practice tests. We also used Barron's Review flashcards, which helped us if we didn't know a note card in the book. Another resource is Friedmanpedia and Crash Course.
now for the open letter. An open letter to Mr. Hennessy. We won't lie, your class was tough. There were many late nights and boring textbook readings, sorry Barrons, and even some emotional breakdowns. But overall, it was worth it. I think we've learned much more about the world in the past year than we have in all the previous years of our lives combined. We've challenged ourselves, we've improved our study habits, we've learned how to manage time better, and we've learned that we were capable of much more than we thought. And we realized that this class would have been much, much harder with not as good of a teacher. So thank you for everything, and good luck with the next class of sophomores. Next year, we'll be discussing how to survive AP US History. Just kidding, none of us are taking it. But we will be back with AP Physics. Until then, thanks for watching.
Our crash course was produced and directed by Lizzie, Sarah, and Marianne. Our script supervisor is the same 3 people. This show was written by my high school history classmates and myself, and our graphics team is Google Slides. Last week's phrase of the week was do your note cards. If you want to guess at this week's phrase of the week or suggest future ones, you can do so in comments down below, where you can ask questions about today's video, which our team of historians will endeavor to answer. Rising sophomores, thanks for joining us today. We hope this video has helped, and as they say in our home